Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this week's video. This is a labor of love for me, so I appreciate that you were here watching it. Moving right along, we're going to do an anime review this week, and we're going to do an anime review from the spring lineup, and it is going to be Kowloon Generic Romance. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so for those of you who normally watch this channel, also know that I'm on another YouTube channel called Otaku Station. Actually, the YouTube channel itself is called Anime Archaeology. We do a show called Otaku Station on there where we kind of do deep dives. We also talk about the lineup for the new seasons. So we'll watch the first episode of a new show, not like a season, not like episode 1 of season 2 of Fairy Tales or whatever. It's, actual new shows. So we go through like about 30 or 40 of them in one go, and then we do a usually 1.5 to 2 hour episode of describing all these. One of the ones that we saw in spring in the spring lineup of 2025 was Kowloon Generic Romance. And we were really surprised by this one in a very good way. We really liked the first episode. It ended on such a cliffhanger. We were just like, but we want to binge it now. And of course, this is only the first episode. So it was a really, really strong first episode. So I decided to actually give it the 3-episode treatment. For those of you who don't know, I watch an anime for 3 episodes. That usually gives me an idea of where it's going to go, tone, and things like that, so I can give something of an accurate review for you guys. So I gave it the Kowloon Generic Romance, the 3-episode treatment, and boy, am I glad I did. So let's start off with the particulars. We'll go to the ever helpful Wikipedia for Kowloon Generic Romance. As with many anime, it comes from a manga, the manga of the same name. And the author is Jun Miyazuki, and the manga itself is published by Shueisha. And you can find it also in Weekly Young Jump, it looks like. It started in November of 2019, and it looks like it's still ongoing. So the story's ongoing. The series itself is 13 episodes, so it's definitely bingeable, but it's only 13 episodes long. And it appears that there is a live-action movie as well. I know nothing about that one. I am very curious about the manga, though. So that's kind of the particulars right there. Not a whole lot to go on, but maybe that's for the best. Anyway, so let me give you a little bit of brief plot summary here. So Kowloon Generic Romance starts with a small renting company in Kowloon, China. So for those of you who know your history, you know what Kowloon is. For those of you who don't, Kowloon was an actual place in China right outside of Hong Kong. Like literally, here's Hong Kong, here's Kowloon. And Kowloon was basically took up only 6.5 acres, but like close to 40,000 people were living on that 6.5 acres. It's a crazy, the real life history of the place is just crazy. It no longer exists. It's been torn down and turned into a park, basically. But back in the day, Kowloon would be, it's only the 6.5 acre plot of land, so it grows up and down. So you have a lot of stuff going upwards, so a lot of tall buildings, and you have some subterranean things going on. Not like mole men people or anything like that, but just a couple levels underground, and very densely packed. Very tight streets, very tight alleyways. People living close together, so there's this kind of definite flavor to living there. The real life Kowloon had basically no real laws. It came from originally it started off as a garrison against pirates in the medieval China. And the garrison was like less than 30 people, and somehow by the 1990s it grew into a 6.5 acre a plot of land where 40,000 people lived. It's kind of insane. So anyway, back to the plot of the story. So it's based in Kowloon, present time, and it's this office. Again, it's a leasing rental office, and you have Hajime, a guy from Japan who has been transferred to this particular branch office, and Reiko, who has been living there and working there for a while. And the story starts off funny. It's a comedy, definitely a rom-com, right? Okay, for those of you who know me, I like romantic anime. It's so I was like really happy to see this. It was very much in my wheelhouse, and it's about them traversing being real estate agents and helping their rental people. They call them up on the phone going, this is busted, oh, this thing's happening, please help us. So they kind of go around Kowloon, and you figure out what they're about, what they're doing in this business. And apparently in other countries, Asian countries, when you go to a leasing agent, they do a lot more for you than they do here in America. So so that's it, it's a thing. And so at one point they're walking down a thin street, and they happen to look up and go, oh yeah, there's Gentera. So there's this thing up in the sky, like eight-sided die or thing with the glowing parts inside of it, and it's up there. And we don't know that much about. Not a whole lot is explained about it in the first episode, and people just go, oh yeah, it's the thing up there, So we accept it, and then they literally, the anime moves on from it. Like it's just like going, oh yeah, by the way, point of reference, thing in the sky. And then you get immersed back into the story of these two people, how they're coming together. It's a romantic comedy, and it's just really funny, really engaging if you like that kind of thing. And then they go to this tea house, this lovely little tea house. I wish I had this particular tea house in my neighborhood here in Baltimore. And they're sitting there, and the guy serving them, who works the tea bar there, knows Hajime, and basically goes, oh, it's been so long since I've seen you, and calls Rico by another name. And she's like, what? And Hajime doesn't really say anything, and the plot moves on. A thing happens, and you're like, aw, I don't want to explain it. I don't want to give too much away. And then she goes back to the tea house to try and figure out, okay, why did he call me by a different name? Why did he recognize me but call me by a different name? And he gives her a picture. The guy that originally served them the tea gives her a picture. I don't want to explain what the picture is because you guys see it for yourself, because you're going to see this. You watch this anime. I'm already telling you, you're going to watch this anime. And she looks at it, and then the episode's end. And when you see that photo and what's in there and what it says at the bottom of the it's basically a Polaroid at the bottom of it, you're like, the heck is going on? And by the way, by that point, you've totally forgotten that there's a thing up in the sky that nobody's really talking about. Right? Okay, so that's the first episode. Gave it the 3-episode treatment. The story moves forward. Now, keep in mind, there's 13 episodes, so the story has to kind of move forward at a certain pace. But the pacing is really good here in this anime thus far in the 3 episodes I watched. And so the second episode is more about that, and we get into the mystery. And I don't think that this is much of a spoiler, but I think you need to know this. We discover that Reiko does have amnesia. And so we have a mystery on our hands, right? Like, what's going on here? Who knows what? Why is this confusing? Why is this happening now? Thing in the sky. And so as she's trying to figure this out, and as she and Hajime are navigating their relationship, and which is funny and kind of sweet at the same time. She gets a phone call from one of her clients, and she goes over to go to a neighbor of her clients and try to get the neighbor to not stop making so much noise. She makes a new friend. Reiko makes a new friend. And for some reason bears her soul to this person. And this person, who apparently is addicted to plastic surgery, says, hey, don't worry about it. We all have pasts that we don't want people to know about. And Reiko goes, yeah, but I actually don't remember mine. So they become friends, and they basically start out on trying to figure this thing out. Now, by the way, it is a mystery, and it's a little bit of detective work, but we're not talking like Conan the Detective or anything like that. This is just somebody trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and finding somebody who's sympathetic and going along with them for the ride, so to speak. So we go through that episode, and towards the end of it, apparently there's this new clinic that opens up. And Reiko and her new friend decide to go there and Hajime made a comment about crow's feet, and she was like, I want to get rid of these crow's feet. She goes in, and we meet a new character, and he is just, anime has very specific character designs to portray. This is what we want you to think of this character as we show you them, and of course they give you the most evil looking character. Very suave, and of course the voice is very just kind of evil, and just a suave kind of evil kind of thing going on. And he's supposed to be this doctor of this clinic, and like he knows who she is. Like he kind of he immediately knows who she is, and but doesn't reveal it. And he is talking to her, and he's talking very cryptically, and it's just so creepy, so cringy creepy, but such a good way of showing up like how evil this guy is. And for a moment we see a forked tongue coming out of his mouth, and it's just like what's going on here? What's going on? By the way, thing in the sky. What's going on? And the episode ends. There's so much I can't say because it'll spoil it. Third episode, we get more into the mystery. We kind of figure that Hajime has some connection going on here, and we're trying to figure out what that is. Meanwhile, we have the rom-com. The rom-com is underneath all of this. This is still happening, right? Oh, and by the way, again, thing in the sky. So that everyone just accepts. And so the episode ends where the guy, the head of the clinic, comes into the actual office, the leasing office, and is looking for a new space, but he's really there to see Reiko. And he does a thing, I don't want to explain it, and Hajime freaks out. It's a funny scene, but he freaks out, and it just lashes you back and forth between being funny, sweet, weird, creepy, thing in the sky. I'm gonna be saying that a lot. Thing in the sky and all this stuff. So by the end of the third episode, you're just you just want to watch the rest of it right now. You're just like, I gotta know what's going on. Why did she remember? Why do some people know what's going on here? Some people don't, and some people appear that they know what's going on, but do they really? I don't know. This is also interesting. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, and by the way, thing in the sky. Got nothing by the end of episode 3. So, very engaging plot. Very engaging. If you like mysteries, if you like rom-com, you're definitely going to like this. All right, so the animation, let's get into some of the particulars. The animation is actually quite good for what this story is. This is not shonen, so we don't need all the action stunts and whatever and all that stuff. So there's a lot of static scenes and things like that. But the animation is very articulate, and it gets points across without having to have dialogue. So when you have that kind of animation happening, it's really kind of good. The style of the animation reminds me of late 90s, before they went to that weird blank kind of animation that they had in the early 2000s. But it's kind of detailed, and you feel like almost as if you're watching, older anime, but it really isn't. And yeah, it's good. And like I said, when it needs to be great, it is, because it's trying to convey things without having to speak. Plot, highly engaging. Again, this is not shonen, so you're not going to get a lot of the shonen jumping, kicking, and all that kind of stuff. Maybe later, I don't know, because of the thing in the sky. So many questions, but also things get answered as you're moving along. And some of those things, of course, as you get the answer, creates more questions. So I don't know how they're going to wrap this up in 13 episodes, but I'm definitely going to be finding that out pretty soon here. So yeah, the animation is good, the plot is good. It's very engaging and very much of a surprise. And I'm a little bit surprised that I'm not hearing much more buzz about it, even though it just kind of, the 13th episode finished up this past June. So not long ago, about 3 weeks ago, at the time of filming this. And so I'm kind of like, why isn't anybody else really talking more about this? So yeah, do I recommend this anime? Yes, I do. I think you should watch it. I think this is a gateway. I also, most importantly, I think this is also possibly a gateway anime for some people, because it's, you don't, the story is so good at this point, and the way that the pacing is at this point, at least by the end of episode 3, you don't care that's anime. You don't care about the thing in the sky at most points. I'm sure it's going to have a major factor by the end of it. We'll figure it out. But right now, it's just like going, oh yeah, it's a thing in the sky. But it's just so interesting, and it's so, and the plot of it is of this woman who has amnesia, and she's in this world where some people know her, and she doesn't understand why, and she's trying to figure out why this is happening. And for those people who like mysteries and stuff like that, might find this engaging. It's kind of like how Death Note was engaging for a lot of people who were not anime fans, but they really liked Death Note because there was enough in there that grabs you and pulls you in and keeps you in there in that world. Same thing with Kowloon generic romance. It grabs you very quickly, and you think it's one thing, and then you get that whiplash at the end of the first episode, and you're like, I gotta know more. I gotta know more. So this may be a very good gateway anime. I'm not sure. We'll have to finish out on it, but I am looking forward to watching the rest of this particular anime. So yes, 2 thumbs up. I'm heartily recommend that you watch Kowloon generic romance. Thus far, it's been certainly worth my time. So hopefully that's good enough for you to go, yeah, okay, I'll give it a try. Please do. It's really, really good so far. Okay, so that is it for this week's video. That's it for Kowloon Generic Romance, a very, very interesting anime that you should watch. And I hope you do. Let me know what you think about it down below. Be nice, don't troll. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. As always, if you're going to Gen Con, my event IDs are down below. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of history about the guns of Tanegashima, and of course talking a little bit about Yoko Kanno and the Cowboy Bebop album OST 1. So if you're interested and you're going to be in Gen Con, please stop on by. I would love to see you. Speaking of seeing you, please be well. Please take care of yourselves, because I love you guys and I would like to see you out in the world, whether in conventions, on the street, wherever. Say hi to me. I would love to have a conversation with you. So take care of yourselves. So we're going to end this as we always do. Watch more anime.